Hello to you all. When we come to Kabbalah, we want to discuss the first Sefirat of the Tree of Life, Etz Chaim, and it goes hand in hand with the letter ALEF, which I'll explain its secrets here in short. So, by the way, this week came out one of my books on Etz Chaim, The Wheels of Life. There's 110 wheels over there, which we will discuss, which come to illuminate and rectify anyone's life, and we all need all the 110 to go through, and it's an incredible journey and workshop for yourself to work through all your challenges in life and come to complete rectification and illumination in your life. And I'm in the middle of the journey myself somewhere. So when we look at the Tree of Life, we start to look down at it from the top, from the crown Sefirat. Sefirat is a godly illumination, an emanation, a prism through which God brings down his light. And like we cannot look directly at the sun, which is a little torch for God, so we cannot fathom, we cannot hold and include all the light of God all at once. So for this, we really need prisms. And those prisms are the Sefirat, which means a limited lens of different color, different understanding, different attributes through which we can take in and hold and manifest God's light in us. So the top one, which is maybe the most important one, we're going to start with the crown, and not inclusive, only that one. And whereas the other Sefirot are within our body, where Sefirot is the plural for Sephirah, the crown Sephirah is right on top, hovering right above my head at the fontanelle where a baby starts to breathe as he's born, before his bones of the skull coagulate together, come together and crystallize, because this is where the soul comes into our body. And that place is our connection to godliness. That's why it's hovering over our heads. So it's partly human in its lower part, but the major part of it is godliness and divinity. So what do we know about this crown chakra? In the Hebrew, it's called KETER. And KETER comes from word lechater, to envelop, to hold within. And there's three attributes over there. In the English, it's beautiful. It's the ether, which is the fifth element of gas. And in the Hebrew, it's ether, which is an acronym for three different attributes. Those attributes that each one of us must work at first is the ALEF in Hebrew, which is emunah, which is faith. In other words, everything we do is out of good faith, goodwill. If you don't believe your parents, nothing that they will tell you will do. If you don't believe your boss, your company, you're not going to be very loyal to them because you don't believe in the instructions, so much more so your general in the army, or your president, whoever it is, a person of authority, that the first thing we should have is trust and belief in that system, or in that person, or in that being. So our first connection to God, and therefore hence all the different guidelines, instructions, commandments in the Torah and the Bible, they all flow forth out of that incredible first thing of faith. And we're not going to go through this generation, which is so bogged down with incredible hardship and challenges and suffering and torture and death and illnesses and accidents, you name it, and COVID, unless we hold very strong, fasted faith, simple faith, no questions. That's the way the world is right now. Like you accept as a child your mother's instructions to you, because she's a very loving mother who only means good for yourself. First thing is faith. Second thing is an incredible spiritual pleasure and joy, satisfaction. We're not talking about the crave. We're not talking about satisfying immediate gratification of your urges. No, we're talking about a spiritual and emotional and mental, incredible inner satisfaction, oneg in the Hebrew, or tanug, because you have reached a resonance between who you are and that infinite quantum physical sea vibration of God, the consciousness of the universe, through which you know what you're supposed to do in this world. And we must each find that resonance in us, even if it's only for a short time a day, even if it's through meditation or prayer, or when you engage in learning divinity, anything holy and sanctified. The third element is your inner will. In other words, it's not a will just to go shopping, but it's an inner will to do what is right in this world, to go to your mission, to go to your purpose, to go with meaning all the way up till you achieve what you were created for. So faith, incredible satisfaction, which is spiritual as well as mental and emotional, and the willpower, the will that will drive you all the way to that. When we hold steadfast in all those three, then we definitely know we have arrived at this incredible understanding and element of the crown Sefirat, where it can come down and manifest in our body. Now, in Kabbalah, we know that there's a hierarchy, and above the Sefirat, which are very, very high, there's one thing, which is the letters. God has created the world in 22 letters. God has given the Bible, the Torah, in 22 letters. There are many other respectable, very respectable languages. Chinese got 7,000 letters, which I'm sure are very respectable. But when you call a name in English, George, Jane, John, it's a very beautiful name, but it doesn't have a meaning apart from the actual name, the title. But in the Hebrew, every letter and every word you form out of letters has got an incredible meaning, both on the superficial level as well as on the depth level of it. So the letter Aleph is that initial letter with which the crown chakra has been manifested and created. So we handed down by tradition over 5,000 years through Kabbalah. What is the big understanding about this Aleph? Well, it's made in such a way that it's open on all its sides, and you're able to see it through my live video on Facebook last night, but in length. But in short, it's open in all its four sides, showing us that this letter has opened the field of thinking. It opened the field of faith. It allowed us to see beyond the normal resolution and limited mind that we usually, or ego that we usually utilize. This letter Aleph is the first letter, and not only because of that, so we handed down by Kabbalah, that is the letter of faith, because faith in Hebrew starts with an Aleph, Emunah. It's the letter of love and compassion, because it's the first letter of Ahava, which in Hebrew is the word for love. The first time that any letter in the Hebrew alphabet appears in the Torah and the Bible, in the initial, as the initial letter of a word, says the Vilna Gaon, that is the meaning, the core essence of that letter. So the first time the letter Aleph appears in the Torah in the core value, first letter of a word is Bereshit bara Elokim, the beginning God has created. And the word God, not the word Lord, which is something else, but the word God, the God of nature, the God that created all the rules of and all the laws of physics and all the rules that we use in this world and principles, is that letter, meaning that this is a letter of divinity that we definitely want to use, that we definitely want to achieve with higher consciousness. Meaning that since we are created in the image of God, and if we are people that have any kind of fixed mindset, or people that want more compassion, more love, more faith, this is a very big, deep, mystical art of how to add a name or to your name a letter. And that letter Aleph does that trick of compassion, of graciousness, of lovingness, of faithfulness, of faith, from the word faith, and open up, of course, the vision of thinking, as well as allow ourselves to join all the values and match those values of the highest level of the crown Sefirat, which is the KETER, which is colored white. So if you hold all this together, you come to an incredible new understanding that the world down here as we see it is governed above us by all kind of transformers, which go all the way up, all the way to God. One of the highest level is the Sefirat, in plural Sefirot. Above this are the letters which are, as Kabbalah tells us, the spiritual atoms with which this world was created. Nothing we can speak about, we can fathom, we can envision, it without going through those letters. Any concept, any name, any definition has to go through these only 22 letters. And with these 22 letters, and 5 finals which come out from the 22. God has created the world as it is discussed at length in the Book of Creation, one of the earliest book of Kabbalah, attributed to our forefather Abraham. If you want to listen to the whole recording, it's available from last night in the English, in Facebook, and it will be upcoming shortly onto the YouTube. God bless you all. Shabbat Shalom.